Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all.
You know what I'm really sad about?
What are you excited about?
No, I'm sad about.
What are you sad about?
I'm sad that Ryan Reynolds might suck.
Yeah, it's looking that way. I mean, okay, allegedly. Allegedly, we know nothing. But while you were doing your normal pregnant 10 beverages and a pee break thing,
Yeah.
um, I did a little bit more digging because I've heard these rumors from like when he was with Scarlett Johansson. Have you heard these?
No.
So he's perpetually with someone younger, which is fascinating. So like when he was in his 30s, he was with Scarlett Johansson, who was in her 20s. Then he gets up into his like later 30s and he gets with like Lively when she's like 22. So he's
Yeah,
always a fair bit older, which again is fine.
sure.
But Scarlett Johansson actually talked about, she wasn't like real shady about Ryan Reynolds because celebs really can't do that. But she
Mhm.
did make some comments about setting boundaries now in relationships and understanding the importance of compassion,
Hmm.
talking about how hard it is to work with another actor because it's hard to manage like your stuff and their stuff.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. So then I went down another rabbit hole and I saw that he had like a beef with the first Deadpool director. And he was
Interesting.
such a pain in the butt that in the second Deadpool and the third, Ryan Reynolds just kind of took it over and the director like quit.
Oh gosh.
He basically said, I don't want to work this way. Like I don't want to get pushed
Mm-hmm.
around.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me your theory, because I think I have the same theory you have.
You mean my theory on this whole, what's the book called?
It ends with us.
It Ends With Us and movie. So my theory on that or on Ryan Reynolds?
So many things. Okay, there's kind of two pieces.
Yeah. So
So what do we think happened in this whole Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds,
okay. So my
What's his name? Justin Baldoni.
Yeah, Justin Baldoni. So I have a theory. So when it first all started, I was like, ooh, this is juicy because Blake Lively went after Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment,
And didn't
right?
you initially think like, oh, screw them all? That's how I felt. I was like, men, a little bit.
I mean, I was like, that's ironic that he plays a DV guy in a movie and then he's like being a DV guy in
Well,
real
he's a
life
little
in
too
the
handsome
movie.
to be good. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at him like, you're just a little too handsome. You might be problematic.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I thought that. I didn't know who he was before. I had no clue. So,
Me neither.
but I was just like, well, that's ironic that he's a little bit of a, controlling DV schmoozy guy and he's playing that role. Like, that's
Yeah.
fascinating. That's kind of what I thought initially. And I was like, what a bummer. And we would probably have a whole episode on that.
I thought we were going to have an episode on that.
Well, we were gonna until
Yeah.
everything else started coming out. And then we were like, oh, uh-oh, it
There's
might
more to the
there
story.
might be more. So now, as we both know, so initially Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Justin. And then
And it was big. Do you remember how much it was for?
no, 4 million? No.
Oh,
Well,
no, it was a lot. Let me look it up.
sorry, I'm drinking my tea.
I'm drinking my water and typing
I've
like a
been sick.
mad fiend.
I've been sick all week.
Okay, so he sued her. I mean, she sued him. Oh, now there's women breaking their silence on Justin Baldoni.
Oh no.
I'm never going to be able to figure this out. Okay, hang on.
Okay, well, how much did Blake Lively sue him for?
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you for reminding me what we're looking at. Okay. Have you heard the voice notes? Just side note.
The what?
The voice notes.
Oh, wait, his voice notes to her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, I don't see how much she filed for, but it was a legal complaint against Baldoni, and the team behind it ends with us for creating a sexually inappropriate atmosphere on the set of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as retaliation for Lively speaking out, hired a crisis communications team to attempt to smear her reputation. So that's basically what it was about. And remember, the Times did that report, and it was like this big story, and they basically put Lively's whole story in there with text messages, emails, all of that
Yes.
stuff, right?
Yes.
And that was all in the New York Times. And Baldoni denied all of it and then has since countersued for
Yeah.
$400 million. He
Okay,
sued
that's
the
where I got the
Times for
four.
250.
Yeah.
And then Baldoni sued her for $400 million and her husband, added her husband to it for good measure.
This is like an Amber Heard
Yes.
situation again.
Oh yeah, the court drama on this is going to be nuts.
I know. So I think here's my theory.
Yeah,
I think Blake Lively had a little crush on Justin
I think so too.
Baldoni. I think she had a little crush on him because there's footage of them talking, and she's the one that's like being a little more suggestive and like
Hmm.
a little more flirty. And she would say, like, oh, it was for the film, whatever. So,
She's
like,
also not a great flirt. She puts some weird stuff in text messages.
yes.
The suppository comment? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, so weird. I'll find it for you later. But anyway, she's not even a great flirt. We found this out about her.
Yeah, no. So,
Allegedly.
but I think she had a little crush on Justin Baldoni, and I think she was flirting with him.
Yeah.
I think somehow Ryan Reynolds found out
Mm-hmm.
and didn't like it, and then she played the he's harassing me
Yeah.
play,
Mm.
which sucks because if he's not, or if it was a little bit more of like both of them, but it really does look more like her.
Well, his lawsuit is extensive. Like I read
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, I
and
haven't read
he
the whole
has
thing.
receipts. Now
No, he does have receipts. I've read
maybe
some of
he's
his
just like
receipts.
coloring it just like the Times article, but I mean it's pretty extensive.
Oh yeah, no. His receipts are way more legit than hers.
And he was like hanging out with her at their house, I want to say, and held the baby. And there were just like a lot of things happening that wouldn't necessarily be a problem if you were working together or
No.
filming together. But it doesn't paint the picture that he was terrorizing her on set. That's for sure.
No, it looked like they had a friendly
Hmm.
friendship.
Of a friendly, close friendship
Yeah.
with maybe a little bit of flirtation.
Yes. And I think Ryan Reynolds didn't like it. And Blake Lively played it's harassment play.
Well, she probably freaked out.
Well, she did, I'm sure. I'm sure she freaked
What if
out.
he found one of these voice messages or text messages or whatever? Like they're very friendly. Also, this man's voice
Hmm.
is, I don't even know
He,
what I think about it. Like, I don't know if it's creepy or very sexy. I don't know.
I think, I
Can
don't
it be
think,
both?
I think he's super artsy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think he's super artsy, and so it's comes off, and he probably, I don't know if he intentionally does this, but I think it's more on the sexy side, but it's from like an artsy part of him.
But the voice, though, you heard the voice, right?
No, the 2 a.m. voice
Mm,
memo thing, I'm like, bro, first of all, why are you messaging her at 2 a.m.?
yeah.
You
With
know?
that voice at 2 a.m., that's a problem.
There's this funny meme, or not meme, it's a clip I think I saw on TikTok, and it's of these two dudes in a sauna or something, or a steam, no, yeah, a sauna.
Hmm.
And they're listening to it. And one of them is cringing so bad. He's like, this isn't a good look.
No,
Like, so yeah,
no.
it's not good.
Also, there's an intimacy to voice texting. I'm sorry. Like you and I do this all the time. It's literally like a telenovela. Like I message you, you message me
Oh yeah.
all
But
day.
here's
Our
the thing.
friends do that, but like 2
I
a.m.
only I only do that with my girlfriends.
Oh, I know. And even then, pretty close girlfriends or people you're working with all the
I
time.
don't voice, yeah, I would never VM voice message a dude.
Well, and he's like giving it to her from a voice perspective. Like I call you and I'm, like squeaky and weird and whatever. This was like voiceover romance novel voice.
Yeah, no, for
Oh,
sure.
it's like
He could read a romance novel.
100%. He's the voice in my head when I read ACOTAR. That's the voice.
Oh yeah, there you
Uh-huh.
go.
He could be Reese. I would accept
Yeah.
that.
He is Reese.
He's Reese. I
If they
know.
make a movie out of these, they should hire him.
You should be Reese, Justin Baldoni. I don't know if you're a creeper yet, but you got a great voice. Great. Now,
And he's cute, he's a handsome man.
what was I going to tell you? Oh, okay. So, couple of interesting things about the two of them. So, they had a douchey wedding at a plantation, right? They apologized for this. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Had a douchey wedding?
Well, I mean, it's douchey because it was at a plantation. Like, read the
Oh,
room. You don't have a wedding at a plantation. And then did
right,
like a spread about it and everything. And this
right,
wasn't like 20 years ago. This was like a couple of years ago. Not that
right.
long ago. Maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. When they get married.
I don't know.
Whatever. But it was a problem. So it's interesting because I was reading about
Whose
him and
plantation
Scarlett,
was it?
just a random plantation. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But he has some misogynistic humor for sure.
Okay.
Like he's a writer, director, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not saying he's not a girl dad and whatever, but and he had a little bit of a reputation for maybe struggling with um his partner's success. So Scarlett Johansson, I believe she won an Oscar before they broke up.
Hmm.
So there's a little bit of was he maybe struggling with the trajectory of these different careers and here's this blockbuster movie and he started showing up and he kind of took over production. Like that's in the receipts. Like Ryan Reynolds came into It Ends With Us and starts
Right.
kind of taking over. So,
Blake Lively tried to take over too.
oh yeah, but I'm thinking she had a lot of push from him.
Mm.
But I was reading that she was a little bit of a diva on Gossip Girl. Like there may have been some other pieces to this. Like I think anytime people are super powerful, they don't get as much feedback. I'm wondering if the two of them are kind of off in their own worlds a little bit.
Mm.
Because Justin Baldoni is not super well known, but he was really in charge of this film and they freaking took it over. And I think it got bad blood pretty quick. Did you see the
Mhm.
picture of them in the basement at the premiere?
Yes, of Justin Baldoni and his
Mhm.
family.
In the basement. Like they got
Yeah.
banished to the basement of the premiere.
Yes. Yes. No. So terrible.
But I'm trying to remember. I saw something before I came up here and I was like, oh, I gotta tell Nat that. Let me think. Let me think back.
Was it about the basement?
No, it was before that. It was like I hate when my brain does that. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. They met on the set of Green Lantern. So there's
Hmm.
some evidence that they may have been together. They kind of claim that they met after, or they met during filming, got together after, got married like a year later.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Reynolds and
Reynolds
Lively.
and yeah, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. The thing that's interesting about that is they were both in other relationships when they filmed Green Lantern.
Hmm.
So he was with Scarlett Johansson and she was with Penn Bagley,
Okay.
the guy from You, who was
Oh, yeah.
in Gossip Girl.
Oh,
So she
they
has
were
a
dating?
history. Yeah. So she has a history of being with coworkers. They both have a history of getting with a co-star and possibly having an affair with a co-star. So then you have all kinds of potential paranoia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like imagine if you met that way and then your spouse is having this super intimate filming
Mhm.
experience with that dude, with that voice. I'd be upset too.
Well,
Not
yeah.
in a power and controlly way. I wouldn't take over like him. Yeah, I can't promise I wouldn't take over like him actually.
You might.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I would imagine that could be concerning.
You know.
But I wonder, like, I don't know. Yes. I don't know. I think it's just one of the parts that makes me sad is I loved Ryan Reynolds and Lively's relationship
I
for
know.
what they put out,
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Very
they
cute.
demonstrate. Well, they're cute and they're funny as heck together, like how they poke at each other and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a bummer to see all this, like, that Ryan Reynolds is potentially kind of like more of a controlling D-bag,
Mhm.
and that Blake Lively is, also maybe a D-bag,
Well, okay, couple of
you
things.
know?
When they were promoting the film, Blake Lively was a little weird in a couple interviews that I saw before any of this came out. And I was like,
Yes,
what is her deal? She's like
yes.
peddling hair products and it was just
So
a little
weird.
weird. And maybe it's
Yeah.
because all of this was going on in the background. Like, benefit of the doubt, maybe there's a lot of stuff we don't know. And maybe it was bad for her. I don't know. But I will say, it is so rare to see such a public display of animosity. And
Yeah.
him going to her filming is like Garrett coming to our staff meeting and having a beef with my boss about
Right,
something that
right.
happened. It's very weird and it is not empowered.
No, I know it's very weird.
It's weird that she brought him in on all this stuff. And I would imagine
I
for,
think he found something that he didn't like,
I
and
do
now
too.
and then he got all involved.
And watching the dailies, have you heard people talking about what the dailies are?
No.
So he insisted on watching the dailies. So Blake did, and then Ryan also was watching them. The dailies are like our raw episode where it's like an hour and a half of nonsense. And then Garrett edits it so that it's sort of cohesive. That's what a daily is. So they were watching everything, including all the between take stuff. Nat, so what if he was watching for the little moments that we've seen?
What do you mean?
Like the cameras roll the entire day. So between takes, when they're
Mm,
talking between cuts, and he started demanding to see them after they were filmed. So I'm wondering if during the editing process, he wasn't trying to see how deep this thing went. Blake panics. She starts trying to reinterpret this whole thing because her whole life's on the line with her family and everything. And
right.
Baldoni's like, not today. Like,
Bring it on, girl.
bring it on. Because remember when this first broke and everybody was like, but Justin Baldoni like talks about being supporter of women and all of this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Is he a fraud? Basically, was what
Yeah.
people were saying.
Well, right, right. Yeah. Well, and what's interesting, like you're talking about some of the interviews you saw, I saw some clips of interviews. And like you said, she was just kind of, there's like a flighty thing about her.
All of a sudden, I don't know that she's always been that way, but she certainly was promoting
But
this film.
right. But then, and they would ask her specific questions like, what is it like to play the character you're
Hmm.
playing? And she would just say random crap. And then when they would ask him, like, why is this movie so or meaningful and blah, 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 he had like really genuine responses,
Yes.
and it was interesting. I had this really terrible thought.
Uh-oh.
In one of the interviews, she was like, well, like, because someone asked her, like, what is it like to play like a DV victim? And she goes, well, that's not her whole identity. There's all these other, and she's like using her hands like this. And she's like, there's all these other things.
Tell us all the things, Blake. Tell us all
There's
the
all
things.
these other things about her that make her her and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you've clearly never been a DV victim in your life, which is good. Like,
Or
thank
it
God,
hit too close to home.
maybe.
And the only reason I say that is because she was deflecting hardcore, whatever
Mm,
was going on. But you're right. She's either grossly unaware or maybe she was trying to deflect and couldn't connect to the role for
yeah,
whatever reason.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she insisted on wearing, I was listening to a costume designer who was talking about how off base the costumes were on set. Because if you
Yes.
read the book, she befriended this homeless boy and she wasn't about all the trappings and then married this doctor, surgeon who kind of swept her into this lifestyle, but that it was never about that for her. That's
Mm-hmm.
why she loved Atlas so much in the book, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But her Blake Lively insisted on using a lot of her own clothes, and it was like very expensive, like Manolos and all the things.
Hmm.
Did you hear they did different cuts of the film?
No.
Okay, I don't know if this is true or not. Again, this entire thing is allegedly. We know
No,
literally
I know.
nothing, pure
I mean,
speculation.
allegedly Ryan filed for divorce. I don't think that's true.
Did he?
I don't think I looked it
He wouldn't
up.
be the one to file anyway.
I don't know. He might be pissed enough.
I don't know, man. I think he's large and in charge. The things that I'm seeing about his personality is he
Hmm.
very much likes to be in control in every setting he's in. That's
Hmm.
what I'm seeing. That doesn't typically switch off in your romantic relationships. If you can
No.
intimidate your like partner director in a film to where they bail for the sequel, okay, in a public way,
Hmm.
you're not going to be a pushover with your partner. I just don't believe that.
No, I don't think he's a pushover. I think the rumor was that he filed because basically because Blake made this whole thing into a whole thing and it wasn't what she probably told him.
Yeah, the math ain't mathin'.
Right. So that's what they were saying, but I don't think he filed.
She also, did you see the thing about the birth scene?
No.
Okay, so she told this whole story about during the birth scene, one of his friends was acting in the film and played the OBGYN that delivers the baby. And she was talking about how vulnerable it was because actresses typically wear just this little modesty thing, almost like a little thong type thing. And here she is, like having a baby, legs wide open.
Hmm.
And in the receipts in the lawsuit, she wore like a whole thing. Like she had like a full length nude like briefs on, basically.
Hmm.
So I mean, this was not, and she had something covering even her chest. So I mean, she was relatively covered up. So if you look at what she said like actresses wear, but she didn't necessarily say she wore. But then in
Yeah.
the lawsuit, he's like, this is what she wore. Like
Right.
he was not playing. I don't think they anticipated a $400 million lawsuit against both of
No.
them.
Well, yeah, I think Blake played it well. And have you heard about the whole Taylor Swift thing?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, what's the Taylor Swift thing?
Well, the Taylor Swift thing, so you know how Blake Lively and Taylor Swift are like besties?
Yeah.
Well, I forget how she did it, but somehow Blake Lively pulled Taylor Swift in,
Oh
and
no.
then Taylor Swift was like, I don't want any part of this.
Mm-mm.
So it was this whole thing. Okay. I'm not a big fan of this person I'm about to name, but
Candace Owens.
yes,
Oh, I can't stand her, but
I
she's
know.
she's doing work. She is in
So
this
so
like
here's the thing. I sometimes like listening to her. I like hearing her perspective. I don't agree with a lot of her perspective.
oh, I don't like her at all. I'm going on the record.
Oh, I
Candace
love it.
Owens, pound sand, bro.
That's hilarious. So I don't hate her, but I will say I love the content she's putting out with this situation because she is doing her homework.
She is.
So Taylor Swift got pulled in. Candace Owens says something about it. So they literally basically email Candace Owens and Taylor Swift's, management, whatever, basically says, they're not really friends right now. Taylor Swift is taking a break from her. Which Candace Owens is kind of funny about this. She's like, of course she's gonna run away because she's like, she was like, I guess Taylor Swift said she felt used or whatever. And
I heard that they told the Daily Mail that. Did they tell Candace Owens that?
she's a part of the Daily Mail.
Oh, I knew it.
Candace Owens?
No, isn't the Daily Mail a gossip rag? I don't think she's a part of it.
I don't know. I can't remember. She talks on the Daily Mail.
Okay.
Anyway, so Taylor Swift basically is like, we're not really friends. We're taking a break from each other, blah, blah, blah. But there's footage of Taylor Swift months ago meeting with some writer for the New York Times, some big writer. Hold on.
But yeah, that's what I heard was that Taylor Swift's team emailed the Daily Mail. But
Yeah.
they're refuting that now. Taylor Swift said that didn't happen.
That she didn't email the Daily Mail.
Mm-mm. But
Oh
of
my
course she's going to deny it, even if it did happen. She's not
What a
going to like admit
caption.
it.
I know, I know. So, but there's this footage of Taylor Swift meeting with some New York Times, I think it was New York Times reporter who like spearheaded, who was like the head person for the Me Too movement.
Oh, interesting.
So she was meeting with him, and so they are wondering if this was all tied in with helping Blake Lively at first create this lawsuit against Justin Baldoni.
Well, that would make sense because Blake Lively's article was in the New York Times and all these
Yes.
celebs came out
Yes.
supporting her.
So they think that the tie was Taylor Swift to get her article into the New York Times. And
Well,
now Taylor
and
Swift is denying it.
the author of the book also endorsed Blake Lively, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why initially I was like, oh, she got mistreated. I mean, there are
Mm-hmm.
celebrities sticking their neck out for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now they're all backing out.
I know.
I think the author also is backing out.
Is she? No, I have to look that up because I haven't seen that. Well, she stepped back from Instagram.
Mm-hmm. I think because at first she had her back and now she's like, oh, there's more to the story.
Oh, man. Well, the lawsuit is so damning from Baldoni.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are trying to get his lawsuit thrown out?
Yep.
Mm.
What is your thought? Because I mean, I think the hard thing is we know nothing, but we know a lot. You know what I mean?
We know a bunch of random conflicting information, but yes,
Exactly. But we know nothing.
yes.
So, what is your thought on what Blake Lively was trying to do?
Honestly, I think the most likely, it's like Occam's razor, right?
Mhm.
The most likely thing is probably the thing.
Mhm.
So I don't know enough about Baldoni to know if this is a pattern of his, but he's also not as famous, so there's not going to be as much information about him.
Mhm.
Honestly, the thing that makes the most sense in my brain is something happened between them. Maybe it was okay until it wasn't. Maybe Ryan Reynolds found out and was uncomfortable. Who knows what really happened?
Right.
But I think something happened between the two of them and then either got weird or it freaked Ryan Reynolds out or it freaked Blake
Mhm.
Lively out. Something happened. And
Mhm.
now it's a he said, she said war.
Yeah.
What I don't know is why Blake Lively went on the offensive in the first place because they have more to lose. So I don't really understand why they came out so strong unless they were afraid that this was going to come out and break up the family or affect their image or something. So they went on an offensive.
Well, I don't think Lively knew that Justin Baldoni had all the evidence that he had
Okay, that's fair.
because I don't think she could have gone out guns blazing like she did if she knew, to be honest. Like it would have been the dumbest move ever.
I want to see too how much she sued him for.
I think, and people might hate me for this,
Yeah.
and this is not normally my stance when it comes to women and
No.
workplace stuff and whatever. Normally my stance is she's right. But
Yeah.
I think she cried wolf and then got busted.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a harassment thing, but more of a mutual situation that
Yeah.
she also engaged in. But I think she cried wolf, to be honest,
Yeah, I think
and then tried to get a bunch of people on her side to back her up.
I think you're probably right, Nat. I mean, I don't know. I hate it because we work so hard as women to be believed, and you and I work with men and try to get them to believe the
Yep.
victim, right? And we have to fight this all the time.
Yep.
So it's incredibly frustrating if that's true. Like
Mhm.
incredibly frustrating.
Mhm.
I think we're going to find out an awful lot because I don't know if they're going to be able to get that $400 million lawsuit, but
Mhm.
people don't file defamation lawsuits lightly. And he has so many receipts. And I'm just wondering if, like, literally their combined net worth is estimated to be 100 million. So, I mean, he's suing them for 4 times that.
That's nuts.
So, I don't know, man. Ugh. It's going to be interesting, but I had the same thought as you in the beginning. My thought was, how interesting if he's predatory playing a predator on the movie and pursued doing this movie.
Yeah. Yep. No, I
Also,
know.
I think Blake Lively got pissed because there was stuff that leaked about how she behaves. And part of it
Mm,
was she was bonkers on the press tour, and
mm-hmm.
she couldn't control the narrative about her behavior. And I
Mm.
wonder if that's part of the whole smear campaign, all of that stuff. And I haven't looked at all the receipts on the smear campaign, but that's ultimately why she sued him. Was she sued him because she said he put all this information out about her to affect her public image.
Oh,
But then she comes out with a freaking New York Times article that like burns him to the
I
ground.
didn't even see the stuff that he came out. So you're saying it started with him coming out with stuff about her.
Well, the allegation from Blake Lively is that Baldoni was, you know, sexually inappropriate with her on set.
Right.
The whole film was kind of an inappropriate environment. And
Mm-hmm.
then that his team, that he had a crisis team come in,
Right.
which we know now was when Ryan Reynolds was starting to take over,
Yeah.
but that he had a crisis team come in and plant stories about how Blake Lively was difficult to work with and was,
Oh,
weird on set or
okay.
whatever. And
So
and
she still went first, and then he came in
he
with
went
this.
first and then he was like, bam.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But all of the things, her text messages, his voice messages, his text messages, her behavior looks the most inappropriate from what I've seen.
Yes, it does.
I mean, she's the one with the sexual innuendo in the text. That's more her.
Yeah.
But his voice is hot nonsense at 2 a.m. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was
Oh.
blushing. And they weren't talking about anything, but his voice is like,
Well,
damn.
and what he was apologizing for was not taking her suggestions to changes she wanted to make seriously or like not doing them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, yeah, it's all so interesting. I genuinely, I'm gonna stick to my story. I think she got caught flirting
Yeah.
and freaked out.
Yep.
But it just sucks because it kind of minimizes other women's experiences
Mm,
and the whole point of what the Me Too movement was about. You know,
absolutely.
so if that is true that she wasn't being harassed and that it was more of a mutual thing, um, yeah, she just made the whole situation look real bad and gave kind of a bad name to the Me Too movement,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
I know. I don't love that at all. No wonder people are distancing a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, people are pissed at her because if none of this is true and they had her back at first and now all his receipts are coming out, like if I were her friend, I'd be pretty pissed. I'd be like, dude, you just like you used a whole movement
Yeah.
for your benefit when really you were just flirting and your husband caught you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think about you. You and I work so closely together.
Hmm.
When a guy tells me something dumb about you, I'm like, absolutely not. I know her.
Right.
Like, absolutely not. Like, I know
And
Natalie.
just so we're clear, when she says guys, she's talking about clients.
Yeah, yeah, not like men in the, whatever in the world, just our clients. People try to triangulate us sometimes 8 ways to Sunday. And so
Mhm.
we have each other's back. It doesn't mean I won't listen to somebody because, we listen to people, but I know you and I feel really confident in knowing you and I trust you.
Mhm.
If I stuck my neck out for you and then found out that you had lied about all of it, we would have words. I mean, I love you to death, but
It
we would
would be
have words.
rough. Yeah.
Same, right? I mean, I'm sure
Mhm.
you'd feel the same way about me. So,
Mhm.
yikes.
Yeah.
Well, Candace Owens, I'm not the biggest fan of yours. However, keep digging.
I don't hate you, but I do love this.
I think Candace Owens is going to get to the bottom of this.
I think she will. She's a little, I mean, you
Trump's in
might hate
office. She
her.
doesn't have anything else to do.
You might hate her, but she's got no quit.
I wouldn't say hate's a strong word. Nope, I do. I really don't like her.
But
I
she's
won't say
got no quit.
Tina's like, don't say you hate people. I don't hate her. I don't respect her opinions about a lot of things. But
That's
you know
okay.
what? She's tough as nails. I'll give her that.
She is tough as nails and she's
She's
got
tough
no
as nails,
quit.
and her
She's
investigative
gonna
work
figure this
on this
out.
particular situation is unmatched at this
It
point.
really is. I
It
mean,
is.
both people from both sides are listening to her stuff right now on this.
Well, because I told you she's got nothing to do. Trump's in office. She can sleep easy, and this is what she's doing. Mission accomplished. Now
Yes,
I am devoting my life to this.
I know.
It makes you curious.
I know. I wish we could go to court.
You know what is so insane about it? The way he's going after her, it would probably be public. Like, I don't know that because all of this played out in the media, they're going to have a hard time arguing to have a quiet case.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. There was so much of it public that both sides were like, fine.
Well, Johnny Depp wanted that to be public,
I
and
know
she
he was
didn't.
living his best life. Do you remember when he get out of the car and he's doing his whole like
He's
Jack
such
Sparrow
a.
into the
And here's
courtroom?
the thing. They were both abusive. They were both
Oh my gosh, it's the
insane.
most combative thing I've ever seen. Co-combative.
Yes. Co-combative. I mean,
Oh my
Amber Heard had no right to just go straight at him, but
Oh, he's
they're
also a nightmare.
they're both nuts.
They are chaos incarnate.
They both would have been arrested in the state of Colorado.
Could you imagine them being their couples therapist?
No, I would be like,
Break up
get
immediately. Can I drive you to the
divorce.
courthouse?
Yes, divorce now and stay single.
Prescription, divorce, rehab, ongoing therapy
Yes.
for both.
Stay single.
Stay single.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you guys
I was
let
gonna
us
say,
know.
hopefully this wasn't too much of a dumpster fire.
Well, it is, but everybody knows what we're talking about. If you know, you know. It's kind of like mom talk,
Yeah.
But let us know
Mhm.
what you think. Pop on the socials. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Not about Candace Owens, although, if you have an opinion about that, we're game. But really, let us know what you think. If you think we're right, is Justin Baldoni a problem, or is Ryan Reynolds the problem, or is Blake Lively the problem?
Hmm. My vote's Blake Lively.
I vote Blake Lively at this point, unfortunately.
Hmm.
You know what? Her hair's too pretty. I don't trust anybody with hair that pretty. It's unnatural.
Well, I don't know.
You know that doll when we were little where you put the arm up and down and the hair grows? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, that sounds
Oh,
creepy.
this is where our 3-year, 4-year age difference shows. There was a
Except
doll and it had
I
like a
had dolls that had weird stuff. I just didn't know that one.
all dolls have weird stuff. Dolls are so weird.
I had the one where like you'd feed the spoon and it would have like these little like fake berries and then they would suck into the spoon.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I had all the stuff. But anyway, okay,
Okay,
this
this
doll.
one was very exciting because if you put the arm down, the hair would come out of the doll. So like her hair would get longer. And then if you move the arm again, it would like pull back in. So you could do different
Oh,
hairstyles. It was
weird.
insane.
I probably do know what you're talking about. I'd have to see it.
I'll try to find it for you.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us, you guys.
As always.
Bye, forensic friends. I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.